on the practice putting green do this, and she straddles the line, but she actually closes her eyes when she's doing this. That way, with your eyes closed, you get a much better feel for what you're doing because you're not distracted by anything that you're seeing. And this is a relatively new technique for Michelle, so she's still figuring it all out, how it works, and as she's practicing it on the putting green, she's bringing it back out onto the golf course, and that's the only way that you can change something that you want to do on the golf course.
Be careful when you're straddling the side of the line that your foot isn't on the line of your putt.
And the USGA said they were going to pay close attention to that in their championships. I think when the putts are fairly flat and there's not an awful lot of break to it, it's fairly easy to straddle the line. You know you're not going to get into too much trouble, but if there's a significant break or it's a long putt, then you might have issues. What I do like, and I'm not a big aim point fan, what I do like is it's actually bringing Michelle back to a feel kind of game, less mechanical, because she's actually trying to feel something. And these players really today are struggling just around the hole. There seems to be that last minute, 6 inches, just as the ball's approaching the hole, it's just breaking off line.
Just getting things underway. See the upcoming schedule on the LPGA circuit. ISPS Handa Women's Australian Open. Lydia Ko will be defending there after she defends in New Zealand. And then the Honda LPGA Thailand. Hopefully Inbee Park is back for that. Out with an injured back. She withdrew last week, and that's what she's targeting.
Yep, and hopefully she'll be fine. I mean, you can never really tell with back injuries how quickly you're going to be able to recover, but she really needs to take her time and come back when she's good and ready. You don't need to aggravate that injury any sooner.
JTBC Founders Cup in Phoenix the next time that the circuit is back in the United States in mid-March. So it's Hana Jiang still up by 1. Second round here in Ocala.
Start practicing your wedges.
Brooke Henderson, second to the third.
Not the easiest shot for Brooke. She has a little bit of a downhill lie in the left rough, ball sitting down, and kind of a blind shot hitting over the mounds. She gets pretty good height on her irons and also had the advantage of coming in with a 9-iron, which helped.
Michelle Wie to save par at the first, remain at 4 under. 3 shots behind. Hasn't won since that US Women's Open victory, but she struggled with injury following that win, and hopefully this year she will be healthy. And I think a healthy Michelle Wie could do some damage out here. Now Lexi Thompson.
Hit a long iron off the tee for position. This is short par 4, coming in with gap wedge. Oh,
wonderful.
Beauty.
Should be a guaranteed birdie for Lexi Thompson. Get her back to 2 under. To the 5th, and Morgan Pressel for a birdie.
Just off the edge, but playing lift clean in place. You're able to do that from the fringe as well, so it's as close to putting from on the green as you can get.
And what are the playing conditions like out there, Jerry? Is it really, still very soft and ball collecting a bit of mud out there?
No, I haven't seen mud in 2 days. I think it hopefully, and the reason they're doing it is just precautionary in case they do get heavy rains.
15th hole, Julie Yang has a chance to get within 1. Good try, Julie going along nicely. She's outside of the top 500 in the world. She's 502. And this is a very fine performance from Julie Yang. Back back over to Paula Creamer at the 5th, right on the other side of the property here. This for birdie.
Yeah, and all three players in this group have really struggled to make this length putt since I joined them on the 17th hole. Paula's only made one, and that was from off the green 2 holes ago for par. Stroke does look better, though. It's just a matter of getting used to it. When you're putting and you're thinking of mechanics, and she's made some changes to her mechanics, you're almost always going to struggle. Once it becomes natural and you can think about the putt, then it's going to pay dividends.
And I think with Paula, she's missed so many over these last few years. It's quite good for her to have something to work on, to actually sink her teeth into.
Haru Nomura, this at 16 for birdie. Share. Tied for the lead last week after 36 holes with Charlie Hull and Megan Kang. Eventually finished 13th, back at 5.
Lydia Ko working on her birdie putt. Are they still on the clock, Jerry?
Yes. Still on the clock, and if they don't finish putting before the group in front finishes on the next par 3 green, where they are currently, then they'll remain on the clock for one more hole, but they are making up a significant amount of time.
Well, Lydia can't afford to take too much time then here.
She hit the drive in the second shot very quickly, so, and the third as well, so it's cumulative time for the course of the hole, not shot per shot.
And I'm sorry, I sit here chuckling at that because, you know, if you're playing with a slow player, they work, you know, somebody who's known for being slow, they can milk it a little bit, and they tend to run up the fairway, get to the ball quickly, play it when they're on the clock, and then all of a sudden they get off the clock and then everything slows back down again. It's really frustrating if you're not one of the slower players in the group.
So 2 atop the leaderboard. Kyoju Kim, last week's winner, this her 4th at the par 5. I got a feeling.
Ooh. And
Indeed.
Well, and that comes down to what you said yesterday, Terry, about leaving the flag in and taking the flag out. If the flag's in, you feel like you could be more aggressive because it's going to hit the flag stick and then fall down. As opposed to if you take the flag out, you have to be delicate to get it to fall in.
Personal choice, but I think that does play psychological tricks on you a little bit. Meanwhile, Brooke Henderson has this here at 3.
Facing a right to left breaking putt. She's just about hole high. Looks like she's anticipating about 5 or 6 inches of break. Looking for her first birdie on this back 9. I mean on the front 9, her second 9. Everything's been pretty solid with her today. Just hasn't gotten enough putts to fall yet.
Yeah, very solid card. One birdie, the rest pars for Henderson, who's not a rookie this year because she took membership immediately after that victory towards the end of last year. She actually was a rookie in 2015, so won't be eligible for the Louise Suggs Rolex Rookie of the Year honor. Kim Kaufman had a good day yesterday, around in 4 under. She'll be among the afternoon starters. Let's hope that we can get as much play in as possible this afternoon. Very heavy rain not far north of here, but so far the Ocala area has remained unscathed, so been lucky. There's Nayeon Choi, the defending champion, 2 under for the day. One here in a close finish. Hana Jang was in the mix, so too Lydia Ko, coming down the stretch in 2015 in the first playing of the Coates Golf Championship, and we had tremendous support at this event. Now the Villages, a retirement community, isn't too far away from here, about 30 minutes or so, and plenty of golf fans there, and many of them came up to watch the golf. There were a lot of people out there yesterday morning as well. Hopefully over the next 2 days, once the rain has moved through, we'll get some really good galleries here. Alexi just cleaning up at the 3rd for birdie and moves her to 2 under par. Remember, she was almost there at the top of the leaderboard yesterday. She's had some struggles over the last few holes with the putting.
Back at 2, the second coming up from Michelle Wee.
This hole plays uphill, the second shot from an uphill lie. Should have no problem getting a bit of height on this one.
shot. Talk about her trying to not tinker with her swing. It's easier said than done when you're built like that, when you're made like that.
And her father being so analytical as well, it kind of runs over into her game.
On the tee at the 6, co-leader,
Into the breeze, 7 iron. Tough hole location. Tricky one anyway, but this is right.
Sure is. That is a bad miss.
Although last year she did rank number 1 on the tour in sand saves. So I would give her a good chance of getting
looking
up
on
and
the
down.
positive side, Karen Stone. That was a moment ago.
And that's allowing even a couple past you, right? What's that front cover?
Well, yeah, it's only 2 past the right.
Do you like that thing?
Like 8 yards away. Yeah.
Indecision for Paula Creamer. Switches clubs. While she does that, we go to the tee at 4. Par 3, 127 today.
Yeah, and that hole is hugging the right-hand side of the green, and the little breeze picking up, moving right to left. And she has certainly been stellar with her iron shots.
Knocked it down, held it off.
Yep.
Good golf shot. Creamer is ready now.
With 8 iron. Went all after it. Just right of the hole.
Beauty.
Getting better.
And this hole is almost some 30 yards.
It's not done yet.
No. It's about 30 yards less than it was yesterday.
Yeah.
I think the LPGA have done that because of that whole location.
Well, that's a brilliant result there. Meanwhile, back at 4, the other par 3 here on this side. Brooke Henderson taking a look.
And she's gone with a wedge. I would anticipate her looking to try to just get it inside Alexi's shot. With this club in hand, no reason to go anywhere than right at the flagstick.
Hang there, right against the cut. Higher.
I can probably play lift, clean and place and move it away from the cut. If it's just clinging onto that fairway.
Yeah, I guess so. Kind of shake your head at that the last 2 days without any
Exactly.
rain, but it's in the forecast. Pressel now.
8 iron. Little draw. Looking good.
Oh, look at these shots.
Nice.
Lydia Ko's got to be saying, how did I not join that party? Megan Kang made some noise last week playing with Michelle Wee. Is that 2? Birdie putt. Yeah, shared the lead for quite some time last week. Former winner of the Feldo Series.
Very impressive debut last week on the LPGA.
Trying to avoid back-to-back bogeys, and she's had a couple of them, well, 3 of them already in +8, so not going to make the cut this week. Tom was talking about it, the Louise Suggs Rolex Rookie of the Year, and Megan Kang right there. Now, it's quite early, one event, but right now she's leading the way.
I think you really have to look out for Gabby Lopez in that list, though. I really feel like she's the player to watch on that board right now, going forward. Megan Kang, though, impressive. She has the right attitude, but she's showing signs this week of a little letdown from the previous week. It's like almost a relief. You've had such a good week, almost secured things already moving forward, that she's like taking a breather.
Gabby Lopez, by the way, just 22 from Mexico City right now, would be the one going to the Olympics. Amy Park, another rookie. Was a feature on her last week.
Very solid player, but in my mind, maybe a little worrying that she's having to use a sort of a claw grip so early on in your career.
Do you think so? Because so many players at a young age now have experimented with so many different grips. Is it necessarily a negative?
It is, because you only go to that if you have to. It takes a lot to get used to. You wouldn't go to it unless you needed to.
Long putter, anchored putters. We look at Ko from the bunker right now. Not around anymore, but that wasn't necessarily the case. You had young kids starting that way.
With the anchor putter, yes.
Right.
But that's different because you start off with that. That's, when you're going from a normal grip.
Okay. going to run here, Jerry?
I can't tell you in words how good that shot was. Staring straight down cliff with water on the other side, a flat lie out of that bunker. There's a reason why she was number one a year ago.
Don't get hurt, though. Getting the sand off. Back at 2, Wee for birdie. All right. Enthusiastic gallery around Michelle Wee always. Look at all the circles on that card. 2 off the lead of Ko and Hana Jang. That's a good move before this weather comes in. Here at 6, Pressel. 5 feet, maybe?
Pardon?
5-6 feet?
Yeah, but tricky, just like we've seen all day, and Karen was stating. It's a great shot, but a tough putt. Going to wiggle a little right, and it's pretty chewed up around the hole. She made it look easy.
No problem.
It's all about being committed to your line. You pick your target, you pick your line, and you just get the ball rolling over that spot.
This is Leanne Pace, 4 under 4 the day. Twice the leading money winner on the LET before she came over to play on the LPGA. She's had a very successful career. First South African player ever to top the LET money list, so just waiting for her to show that sort of form on the LPGA, slowly coming.
So Pressel made hers. How about Creamer now?
I like her chances. She's rolling it so nicely, but this, like Morgan's, is really tricky. It's pretty much straight down cliff, and although these greens are in really good shape, they are not perfect, and this front area of the hole, just looked a little dicey to me.
You really have to put all of that out of your mind, and you have to focus on the actual stroke itself and getting the ball started on your chosen line, and try not to think about the outcome of the actual ball going in the hole.
That's so easily said.
It's all psychobabble, and psychologists say that all the time, but as players you have to do what you have to do to try and trick yourself sometimes.
Psychological babble.
Yes.
She won the battle that time. Lacey Thompson.
Well, she really was reading this quite intently with her caddy Benji, trying to see something in this putt. I don't see much. Hard to tell if it went that way or she pushed it a little.
Yeah. Last of the 3 putting here at 6, but this for par for Ko. It'd be a great up and down from the bunker.
Yeah, I was just talking to Paula Creamer's caddy, Colin Cannon. He just looks at me, how about that bunker shot? How did it land that softly? She is just so good with those wedges.
Yeah. Fools you a little bit watching on TV, but there's so much slope in some of these greens. It's exaggerated. All right, Brooke Henderson. That's for birdie. That was fairly odd.
Yeah, pretty good effort. She put that putter back in her stance, put the ball back, and kind of popped it. Because she was up against the first cut of rough.
Put the flag stick out. Didn't choose a hybrid or a 3, but played it that way. As if it would.
Pretty creative.
Lydia 4 under today. Great save at 6 a moment ago. Sharing the lead at 7 under with Hana Jang. Those names making a run. Yesterday, nobody could catch her. She is yet to tee off here in the second round of the Coach Golf Championship.
Today, people are coming out to the nation's capital to support an important cause that could change the way you live.
Dodge them much longer, though. Or it could just be a shower. We had a brief one early today. Nothing going wrong for Lydia Ko. Keeping it together. She's 4 under today. Hana Jang has yet to tee off. You look down the list. Michelle Wee at 3 under today and 5 under for the tournament and 2 off the lead. And she's making long putts, Karen.
I saw her really working hard on her putting before she went out to play, practicing her routines. And when you do that, it pays dividends when you go on the course. You know the speed.
Back to back, even longer at 16.
And these are putts that you really don't expect to make. You're just trying to get the ball close to the hole. And then when they fall in, it's like a bonus.
Could be one of those years. Don't want to get too excited about the long putts, but if she stays healthy and she's putting well, and you know she believes in this style, the tabletop, the 90 degrees, she's stayed with it for a few years. It has improved her stats on the greens, and there she is, 2 off the lead at 3, Tom.
Let's see if she can keep this going here and hopefully get the round finished with those raindrops on the water hazard we showed you just a moment or two ago. There are some really strong storms north of Ocala, but they've been moving through for most of the morning and they haven't affected this area yet. 17th hole is a tough hole today. It has been since the tournament began. That one should yield a par for the Japanese golfer, who makes her home in Hawaii.
All right, so Tom, we check the leaderboard once again. The 2 at the top. Namora right there, 1 off the lead. 6 under, doing all of that damage today. Also, look at Suzanne Pedersen at 5 under today.
I think somewhat the second round, after having to get that first round out of her way with Alison Lee yesterday, I think it's good that was done. Now you can come out and just play golf. And all those questions are resolved and we can move on.
It's a good point. Chu Lin at 3 under. Sakura Yokomine at 2 under, 4 under overall. Some good play, very good conditions for scoring with very little wind so far today. If the storms stay off to our north, good things going on throughout the week. On Tuesday, LPGA players and Coach Golf President Molly Coates visited pediatric patients at UF Health. Lincecum, UF alum, Sandra Gao, Alexandria Jacobson, Sarah Kemp, Jenny Jank, spending the day chatting with the kids, playing games, doing puzzles, also playing some Wii golf, and the kids, I think, teaching a few lessons to the LPGA players. Pediatric patients surprised the LPGA players as well with handmade locker tags for the Coach Golf Championship. Special welcome that represented the strength of the patients. So, University of Florida Health, big part of this event, and the players going out there to see the kids. Very nice. 17.
Haru Nomura for a par. Oh no. Well, you talked about putting the holes on slopes.
And it's really tricky. It really plays with the players' heads because you're not used to playing that amount of slope around the hole. The LPGA tries to keep it fairly flat around the hole, very limited breaks at the hole itself. But today, there's a ton of break around the hole, and you're just not used to seeing it. So they're all having to make that adjustment and learn to deal with the pace and the speed and commit to their lines.
Tom, if we all just lean to the south a little bit, we're right on the edge of these storms. Xu Lin in the fairway here. 6 of her last 8 starts. She's been very good. Top 15 finishes, and that's a great one. On pace to compete for China in the Olympics in Rio this year. To 3. Uh-oh. Umbrella's out.
Yes, this is not exactly what we wanted to see. Megan Kang, who finished 11th last week. Fine performance in her first event as a member of the LPGA, but not her week so far here. This for birdie to get it back to 7 over.
And that's something that she'll learn to come to grips with as she moves through the season, going from one course to another course, changing conditions, different types of setup, and different attention by the media.
Second hole, and the second shot here. Excuse me. 5th hole, second shot for Lexi Thompson, par 5.
215 to the front. And believe it or not, Brooke Henderson has outdriven Lexi by a couple of yards, so both players having a chance to go for it in 2.
Saw that a couple of times yesterday, Karen. Lizette Salas here for birdie at 14. Will it get there? Yeah.
It's one of the strengths of Lizette's game, and one area that she really has to perform well if she wants to win on tour. She doesn't hit the ball that far, so has to make up with her short game.
Good bounce back and just a couple back.
Michelle, we're going through her routine. That's what we talked about there with having to be careful you don't step on the line. Her foot was clearly not on the line in that instance, unless she was going to putt wildly to the left. But
and missed the hole by a significant amount.
But it's something to watch out.
She was standing to the left of her line. This putt will break to the left and be, I would say, it's a good 6 inches of break on this putt. Even though you're looking at it from, what is that, only looks to me about 8 feet away. Watch how she gets through the ball though, really back of the left hand to the hole. But a case of being a little bit obsessed by the line and forgetting about the speed. Something the players are going to have to deal with a little bit now with the rain coming in. The rain suits are going to be on, and then they're going to be taking them off, and they're going to have to really make the adjustment as to whether they want to keep them on or not.
At the 5th, big drive, as Kay mentioned, from Brooke Henderson. Can she get home in 2?
Yeah, that was a very solidly struck 3-wood.
Easily home in 2, Kay.
Well, like I said, she was 3 paces beyond Lexi off the drive, so...
How much extra yardage do you think she has, Kay?
I think she's gained a good 10-15 yards from last year, and it's probably because she carries a 48-inch driver.
Moment ago at 14, In-Ji Chun, U.S. Women's Open champ.
She won that in impressive style, Terry. She came from behind and she was so aggressive coming down the stretch. And when the hole was tucked tight on the par 3 17th, she went right at it. She didn't let up.
Player of the Year back in Korea, playing on the LPGA Tour now. Good bounce back there, too. Shiyu Lin just after that. Doubted himself there, Paul. Don't bring it back. It's good. All right, golf taking place here in Central Florida. Also out in the desert. What a setting for the Waste Management Phoenix Open. You know about 16, the stadium setting, everything else. Great names. Ricky and Phil Mickelson, Bob, everybody there. Today, 2 o'clock Eastern time, and then over the weekend, early coverage by Golf Channel and on NBC starting at 3 o'clock Eastern.
The LPGA Tour will be in the Phoenix area in a month and a half next time they come back to the US after this event. Good. Here you go now.
That from 88 yards. Almost all of her birdies have been the product of wedges close. That's not a bad shot, but below her standards.
To the 15th, Zed Salas. Nice to see her in the mix. Had a good chance to win at the Maya LPGA Classic last year. Finished tied for 2nd behind Lexi Thompson.
Lexi was really dominant there though, Tom. She really took control with her driver and played some tremendous golf.
Struggled with some injuries last year, but only 2 top 10s in 2015 for Lizette. So good to see her off to a nice start. 2016. Let's go to the 4th.
Out in 34, 2 under, and then made birdie at the 2nd. Here is Michelle Wee at the par 3 4th.
And her coach David Ledbetter and I were talking earlier today, and he was saying that they went back and reviewed some film of her when she was 16, and he's told her how fluid her swing was and how free-flowing it was, and that they were really trying to get back to that. We saw signs of that yesterday. However, that was not such a great lead.
You know, she's heard that constantly over the last couple of years. People like us.
Lexi Thompson, just a little chip and run here at the 5th.
Tom, she has 4 paces to the front of the green and then another 26 to where the hole's located. Green slopes gently away and basically a little bit left to right on this angle. Really important for her to cozy this in tight.
Pretty good for pace, but looks like she just started a little left of where she wanted to. Now Morgan Pressel's third shot at the 7th.
66 yards, ball above her feet. Uphill shot, breeze dying down. This is going to fly long. Going to need spin.
Oh, it has a lot of spin. It did. Yeah, good shot.
Yeah, it looked like the ball mark might have cost it a few more inches.
Yeah, I was going to say they may have just knocked it away from the hole as well. Still, good shot from Pressel. Let's take a look at some scores here. Suzanne Pedersen going along well. She's 6 under for the day. Bouncing back nicely. Michelle Wee in the mix. Looking good for the next couple of days. As long as we can get through without too much of an interruption today. Yang having one of the best weeks of her career so far. 3 under for the round, 4 under for the championship. Julie Inkster there at 3 under, who described her game as being lukewarm coming into this week. Maybe it's heating up a little bit. Creamer now for a birdie at the 7th.
And I think this young lady is the one game that I'm looking for to heat up quite a bit this year, Tom, with those new changes, the new ball flight, the added distance, and just a better looking golf swing. Got to make these putts, though, and in time I think they will come. This one a little uphill.
So, with working with her coach, Gary, she's working on not taking the putter back so square, trying to get it a little bit more open as it's going back, and that one looked to me like the old putter of old. Like that looked like she took it back a little square, and hence the pull. There was no opening it up.
Second for Wee at the 4th.
Not a great deal of green to work with. Really try and keep your hands low, open that club face up, and do that.
It's pretty much the image that defines that shot.
Yep.
Let's see if Brooke Henderson can make an eagle here.
See if she can jumpstart her round and leapfrog a few players. Just a 15, 16-foot putt from hole high left. Seemed to hop a bit and never got a good true roll.
Haven't had an eagle yet this week at the 7th. Well, perfect weather for ducks. Is that a duck? I'm assuming that's a duck. I'm not very good with birds.
Nobody jumped in to help you either.
There's so many places I could go with that, Tom.
Now Lydia Ko for a birdie.
A little downhill here and swinging left. She's aiming this. Probably 2 cups are out of the hole.
Fancied her to make that one.
And this is something that the players this afternoon might have a little bit advantage over of the players this morning. The caddies will have a chance to see what all these players are doing on the greens, and so we'll be able to tell their players, hey, you need to practice some breaking putts, you need to work on these and know where to leave it on the greens.
Brooke Henderson made her birdie, and now Lexi Thompson has this for a birdie.
That's got to do a lot for her confidence and self-belief in her putting right now.
Just had an update from the on-site meteorologist here, and not great news. Some lightning storm conditions 20 minutes away, they're saying, so get your skates on if you're in this group. Pressel for a birdie.
Namora here at 18. Her third at the par 5. That flagstick's so close to that back edge today. All the way back there. The 23-year-old from Tokyo. Got a chance. Back to 15.
Well, Lizette Salas has a birdie putt to get within 1.
And if you had to walk up to this green and place it from anywhere to putt from, this would be just about as good a spot as any. She's going to be putting back up the hill. It will move still to her left. Still have to really commit to her line, because at the hole it will still have that tendency to want to die pretty quickly.
Did die right at the hole. One win for Lizette on the LPGA Tour. It came to the Kingsmill Championship a couple of years ago. She has represented her country in the Solheim Cup on a couple of occasions.
We had 4 to save par. That wasn't a very long putt.
No, we saw Lexi Thompson have a putt from that similar line just hang out on that right side too. So I think the players are being fooled by the line.
Left the hole shaking her head. She'll drop out of that pack at 5 under. Pedersen's right there, red hot 6 under today. And she is done. She doesn't care about any thunderstorms in the area. 66 and 1 back, Karen.
She's going to go in for lunch, put her feet up, have a good time, and watch everybody else wait around.
Stay out here all day.
Yeah.
Nice feeling. All right, over at 6 on the tee. Here is Lexi Thompson at 3 under.
With the honor, back-to-back birdies. That was an 8-iron.
It's 138, but they're taking the 8-iron right here. We saw Pressel do the same thing. That's a beautiful shot. It's no gimme putt, but that's a great shot. 17.
Austin Ernst with her 3rd shot. Oh, this might go in. Yes, well done. Just had a feeling that was going to go in.
You're good with those. Not good with the birds, but you're good with those feelings.
If he fancies telling us the lottery numbers later as well, that will go down well.
3 of the last 4 for that player. Road to the LPGA, the Symetra Tour, and there's the tournament schedule. IOA in California, and then to Florida for 3 straight weeks. Events at least, and then South Regional Healthcare Foundation Classic in South Carolina.
And what's nice about that schedule is that there's not a great deal of money on offer on a Symetra Tour, but the players are able to drive to those locations. They don't have to hop on a plane and fly. It's just an easy transition, like a nice little swing for them to get out and to get into the flow of playing tournament golf.
When's the last time you drove from California to Florida?
I drove from Florida to California in my rookie year on tour.
It's a bit of a drive.
I didn't think Texas would ever end.
Florida to South Carolina. Okay, I'm good with that one. I'm not going cross country. First year out of college, maybe. And it is 3 straight weeks in Florida there. Former stars from the Symetra Tour out here on the LPGA now. Brooke Henderson at 4 under. Player who originally committed to the University of Florida back in her junior year of high school. Never went, obviously.
I could be controversial and say it was a bit of a lucky escape, seeing as I'm a Florida, seeing as I'm a Seminole.
The Seminole will come out of you at some point. Through a bit of haze, the rain here at 8. 13 of 16 so far, trying to hit another one, Co.
Yeah, I don't think the wind's going to affect it much because it's coming out lower. 38. 26.
Just left him.
Yep.
Jason has her at 138 yards. I had 140. A little bit of a downhill line. Tree is just a visual obstruction. Won't affect the shot at all. Just halfway to the hole. Carry it easy. It's an 8-iron. So a pretty good bit left of the hole.
About 2 yards short, too. I think you were right, Jerry. You're at 6. Henderson will be first to putt. So we've seen these putts, and we've seen them made, as a matter of fact. So everybody making things here, but they're not easy. It's no... You can't take it for granted, Kate.
So, Terry, can you read this one that Brooke has?
Let her put it down first. I've got a good read.
Well, it's going to be going down towards the water, I can tell you that.
Very, very nice. Yeah.
And it is going to be pulling, I think, a little bit to her right.
I think you're right. No, you think she's wrong?
No, I think that it's at the hole. It has to go a little left, but it might go right to start.
See the raindrops
But
still
it
falling.
should be fairly quick, don't you think?
I do think, yes. This is just probably about a 23-footer, and she might putt it more or less like it were a 10-footer.
And this is where you would imagine the hole is actually somewhere halfway between you and the hole.
Right, just try to let it just drop down in the front. She actually putted that like it were a 4 or 5-footer.
Yeah,
and that was good speed.
Right on line, too. 16 and the second for Salas. Stay there.
Difficult to get the ball to stop on this green as it all slopes away to the back.
Hyoju Kim on the tee at the 15th, the winner of the Evian Championship in 2014. Her first win on tour was a major victory, and she had the lowest round ever recorded in a major in the first round, 61. She'd never played in a major championship before. She came right out the gate, shot 61.
That was crazy. Yeah. Very short putt for Lexi Thompson now.
And unlike yesterday, she's brought Benji in to assist with the reads and even lining up some putts. And Karen, that's completely understandable given what she went through yesterday. And just trying to slowly build back the confidence and maybe ensure that she's getting the putter set up correctly.
And you made the point, Karen, you thought she was taking the putter back a little too far.
I did, especially on these short ones. Just the putter goes back too far, and then you're struggling for getting the speed. You have to slow the putter coming down. Like, that was a very big practice stroke for such a short putt. You should be trying to practice what you want to repeat over the ball.
Oh, she almost stopped it. Gets it in there.
Definitely decelerating, but getting away with it.
3 of the last 4 for Lexi Thompson. 3 holes to play, trying to race to get those in before the rain arrives, the significant rain at least, and the electricity. Lydia Ko sharing the lead with Hana Jang here in the second round of the Coach Golf Championship.
A season-long battle.
Back with Michelle Wee. Looks like she's going to go for this one in 2 at the 5th.
And did you notice how long the backswing was and how flowing she was coming through the ball? That really is going to help her take advantage of one of her strengths, which is her strength and her athleticism.
Good shot in here for Lizette Salas. This for birdie at 16 to get within 1. Knew it early. All right, here at 8, Lydia Ko, birdie putt.
A little uphill, have to give it a good firm wrap, turning right.
Had it, Jerry. She had it. Good 2-putt, though. And 1 hole left for Ko. Methodically going about her business, too, and nothing real explosive about her round today. But
No, that's
she is at the top.
and that's the style of her game. And I remember playing with her when she was just And then I went back and just hit her hybrids into 2.
Modern technology, Abbott, makes my head spin.
I thought you were a guy that was up to speed with all the gadgets and things like that.
Well, try to stay up. It's impossible today to stay.
Well, you've got a couple of youngsters at home, keeping you young.
Says the man who's just moved on from typing on a BlackBerry.
Talking about Abbott, not
Yes,
me, right?
exactly.
Yeah, okay. Just making sure.
It takes a while for me to modernize. Well, Michelle, taking a while here to figure this one out. Playing live, clean and place. Preferred lies. Should be pretty straightforward, shouldn't it, Karen?
Well, fairly, but the reason that she's looking is that she wants to pick a spot on the green in order to get the ball to roll towards the hole. And then she has to figure out the trajectory that she wants it to go out in order to get that roll and with what club. And you can see her rehearsing that practice stroke as she wants to do over the ball. See how close she gets. Pretty similar. It's important when you're looking at putts like that, chips like that, to know if you're running it, where to land it and what the break's going to do.
Hyoju Kim for a birdie at the 15th. This would get her to 5 under par. Oh, Hyoju.
And this 15th hole is a beast.
They scolding Tom Abbott over that putt.
I thought she was going to make that. Would have been her 5th birdie of the day. Lydia Ko tied for the lead of the Coates Golf Championship.
Today's coverage is brought to you by the Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V. Done 3 in a row. Back to 5.
Michelle Wee still with this length putt for a birdie. She was almost on the green in 2. That's going to be a disappointing 5 for Wee. At the 7th, Lexi Thompson trying to get home in 2 at the par 5.
Yeah, this pretty much a standard 3-shot hole. She hit a nice drive, but looks like she's going to take a fairway wood and get it up there as close as she can. Heading towards that middle bunker.
It's going to, just find it.
And that's a strategy error.
It's going to be a tricky bunker shot if that ball is towards the back of the bunker.
Yeah, that's a strange move.
At the 9th, Charlie Hull to save par. Charlie was going along well, but good 4 there. She double bogeyed the 6th hole with a 5, having made back-to-back birdies at 4 and 5. So it's a round of 73 for Charlie Hull. Morgan Pressel down the left side and not good.
No, and that went left straight away. And knowing Morgan doesn't normally hit a fade, that was trouble all the way.
Selling plenty of lots on the golf course here. Some beautiful homes around.
You get a commission if somebody does call?
Yes, a hefty one. So get on the phone now. Lydia now. It's a tight hole, tricky hole of the night.
Ideal is to start it just on the right side of the TV tower and let it draw. Lydia now does play a draw.
It's played as one of the toughest holes on the course, both last year and so far this week. No problem for Lydia. Now Paula Creamer.
Paula coming off a bogey at the 8th, and fortunate to do that. Made about a 5-footer after having driven it in trouble. Left, which hasn't been her typical miss in years past.
He was saying that he's working on making sure that she turns her hips through the ball, and when those lefts happen, they can be because the hips aren't moving quick enough through. That time, that was pretty good.
They are racing up to those next shots to beat the rain, and we can tell you can make your next round the best yet with advice golfers like you. Very active right there, isn't he? Head to golfadvisor.com for course reviews, facility ratings, and even more best
of rain to be dumped on the golf course this afternoon into the early evening. So who knows when they'll come back out. So if they could get finished up, they won't have to worry about that.
Got to imagine a big advantage for those finishing their rounds right now, no matter what. Say they can't play the rest of the day and they come back out tomorrow. And then you're coming out early. Different golf course, plays much longer. Right now, it's about perfect for scoring.
It is, and the course will be wet, the ball's not going to roll anywhere, and the temperature will be a lot lower tomorrow morning too.
At 6.
The ball won't be flying. Can she get this one in close? Take the slope now. Come on. It's going to be a bit of a treacherous putt.
I agree with them. Unlucky. 17.
I don't feel any wind right now.
Yeah, I think it's small and full. Full sounds good to me.
I think 71.
Like 74.
Even 1's fine.
Feels good. Should be some wind up there. A little off the left. Feels good.
Well, the flag today is cut over on the left side, and there's a tree on the left side of this hole. We saw. I'm trying to think.
Quiet, please.
No,
I'm trying to think who the player was that got caught up in the tree yesterday. We saw somebody get caught up in the tree yesterday, and we've had a few players that have found that fate today. It was Annie Park yesterday who caught the tree. We saw Austin Ernst chip in from the right side of the green. A lot of players favouring that right side.
I think at some point one of the designers wanted to cut that tree down, but instead they just trimmed it.
Finishing hole for Morgan Pressel, her second.
Yeah, to get this on the green, she'd have to hit about a 40-yard hook. I think she's just playing for the fairway. It's a cart path, exactly what she's done. Leave a little flip wedge up there. A good bounce there. Big difference catching the fairway when you're playing lift, clean, and place.
Know if it was out of bounds or not.
Yeah, it's probably 15.
Seventh hole, third shot for Brooke Henderson.
Laid up with a hybrid. 77 yards to the hole.
Yeah, good one. Really good.
Great shot.
Hole, Kelly Tan, her third, the 22-year-old who is on pace to represent Malaysia at the Olympics in Rio. Then working with the Focus Band. You know about that? Headband that measures your brain activity?
I was reading up on it. It helps you to train your brain to be calm, and obviously in golf sometimes that's an advantage.
Jason Day's been working with it a little bit. Measures that left brain versus the right brain.
You've got to have brain activity for it to work, so it wouldn't work for me.
I know the direction.
Stay away.
The trees are doing.
Waste of money.
Okay, I'm cool with it. I feel a little pretty.
The Navy?
Yeah.
Lydia going with 9-iron, 136 yards to the hole. Slight downhill lie. Not a breath of wind at the moment. As well, just half of that short.
Yeah.
Lydia trying to finish her day with a birdie. 4 under for the cards at the moment. And that goes in and be a 67. Lexi Thompson with a bunker shot coming up here at the 7th. What does she face, Kay?
A pretty tough bunker shot. She has a lot of sand to cover. She's at the very right-hand side of this bunker, close to 20 paces to get to the edge of the green and another 8 or 9 to the hole. Oh, just carried it. Hit a good bunker shot yesterday at the last hole.
From a similar lie too.
The 12th hole.
Kelly Tan for birdie to get it to 6 under, 1 back. Nice. In her 3rd year out here on the LPGA Tour. So we were told about 20-25 minutes ago that they expected play to end about now or be halted. We'll see. They may be set to blow the horn, Tom.
Because it's a dangerous situation, the players will have to stop immediately as Pressel plays their 3rd. It's going to be really close for this group, Jerry. I'm not so sure they're going to get done.
I was just saying that. What a bad feeling to have to stick around to do nothing but hit a couple putts. And it could be a lengthy amount of time.
Yeah, about right now.
That is a bad break. Oh, man.
It's Marty Robinson from the LPGA trying to coordinate with the other officials so they blow at the same time. When you watch it on TV, it looks easy, but it's a well-coordinated effort.
Whoops. False start. Back to the line.
You don't want to blow it when somebody's right over a ball.
But it's, it's because of lightning, electricity. It's not the actual rain. And so you have to go ahead and do that for the safety of the players, spectators. He keeps faking us out, though, doesn't he? Scared the dickens out of those people right next to him.
The players say, why couldn't we just look at finish up?
Oh. Lydia's expression says it all right there.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh. God. Can you believe that? You got maybe 1 putt left, at the most 2.
Yeah.
So then we'll bring the players in. You mark your golf ball and go sit and wait. And who knows if the meteorologists are right, might not be back out there today.
Nope. Pick up your lucky ball marker and leave a couple of tees in the ground, because you don't mind if you lose a couple of tees, but losing your lucky ball marker, that wouldn't be good.
That's not good.
Nope.
Well, the officials here have all this organised. There are vans throughout the golf course. Players know where they need to go, and they can quickly get people in. Let's go down to Jerry Foltz.
With Paula, Lydia nearby, and Morgan, the look on your guys' face was priceless there. Not a good break.
No, because we were talking about it on what hole? 6 fairway or something, or 5 fairway, saying that we were going to probably be on the green when it ended. And now here we are.
Probably time to get inside, though. I think it's bad weather.
It could be time to get inside. We might have a little bit of time. Hopefully it's for the fans as well to be safe. But all right, you guys will stick around for a while and do nothing but warm up with your putters when
You
you're...
don't have to go back to the range, so that's a bonus.
Warm up with the putters.
Warm up with the putters. Well, they're keeping it in very good spirits, guys.
Pretty much saying, Jerry, we love you, but we're not staying out here to talk to you.
Like that, yeah.
They blew the horn for a reason. We're getting in. All right, so we'll gather everything and see where we end up. 7 under leads at Lydia Ko, Hana Zhang. The storms have arrived. The electricity in the area, so they blow the horn. Players to the clubhouse and hang out in the locker room and thereabouts in the second round of the Coach Golf Championship, presented by R&L Carriers. Heavier rain coming down in Ocala now. Back in a moment. Na-Yeon Choi started the day 2 shots behind Lydia Ko, chipped in at 4, so things started to go her way. This her 3rd at the 7th, the par 5. It had been a long time since she had won. In fact, a couple of years.
And you can see why there. Nice dead arm swing, able to judge the distance, not have the ball release or stop too much in that wedge shot.
This was the moment though where Ko buried that one from long range, even shocked herself at 15. Gave her a 1-shot lead. Remember, she was trying to become world number 1. She did, but she didn't win. Na-Yeon Choi with a par at 18 to shoot 68. Lydia Ko doubled 17, and so it was Choi celebrating her 8th career LPGA win, first one since 2012. Trying to come back and defend here, playing some solid golf, right in the mix. Cut line 1 over. She's very much inside of that, but the lead right now at 7 under par. Lydia Ko and Hana Jang, as the rain is getting even harder here in Ocala. They expect it throughout the entire afternoon, maybe an inch or two on this golf course before it's all over. Stay right here and update you. I'm back in a moment.
I've been called a control freak. I like to think of myself as more of a control.
Finishing hole, Charlie Hull, 3 under. This her 3rd at the par 5. Well, that's a bad miss.
That really is a bad miss. I mean, you've only got about 80 yards in there and you can't hit the green.
Second to last hole of the day for In-Ji Chun, major champ. What a year she had last year. The 21-year-old from South Korea, first season now as a member of the LPGA Tour.
She plays fearless golf. Having watched her in the US Open, it was so impressive. She went for everything, even coming down the stretch.
4 under today.
Morgan Pressel for a birdie at the 17th to be a really good birdie here.
Yeah, they're turning a little right.
Yes. Only had a couple. So that's the 3rd birdie of the day there, Jerry.
See where Nordquist ended up off the tee at 16.
30 to carry on the front. Right?
Yeah, exactly. That's good. I like that one. Not a lot of movement has this left of it.
She's been back and forth between a couple of clubs, and it's never a good thing when you're in between clubs. You just have to finally commit. And she's committed to the 8-iron. Looked like a nice swing.
It would fall into that category, yes. The best that we have seen a couple of good ones here, but that is very close. 17.
And Lydia to save par.
And as she did pretty much all last year, she didn't do it early in her career, but taking a little extra time on these short ones. And this one, she saw it run by the hole. It's just a right center putt, solid, no problem.
Second on the way at 16 for Lexi Thompson.
Go.
That might be her worst of the day.
She couldn't have hit that well.
All right. Tree trouble for Brooke Henderson, second.
Most definitely. Looks like she's setting up to hit a cut shot, and because this grass is dormant, Karen, you don't have to deal with the thick, lush rough. She ought to be able to pull this off. She's got to work it from left to right. I think there's more room to the left, and even if she comes up short in the bunker, it won't be a bad leave.
Aim left, keep the club face at your target. Swing from out to in, hopefully.
And she may need more than 5.
And it seems to me that every once in a while Charlie just gets a little bit ahead of herself and doesn't really quite focus on that shot in hand.
Stacey Lewis is second to the 17th. Chance to redeem herself over the closing 2 holes. Good birdie here, and of course 18 is a par 5, so the chance to finish birdie.
In-Ji Chun, this for birdie. U.S. Women's Open win last year. Japan Women's Open, 8 worldwide wins for her in 2015. Lexi's third and didn't expect to be off the green for a third here.
No. To me, it didn't look like her lie was very bad, so it was just a bad shot. Karen, we've been known to hit a few of those in the day.
Oh, yes.
It looks, however, that Brooke Henderson is going to go. This is a chance, I think, that Lexi seems like she's ready to go. I'd like to see Ready Golf employed here and let her go ahead and play, even though Brooke is